Hey, wake up. Welcome to the Good Info Cafe, where multiple intelligences meet each day. I'm JK. Today as it is in heaven on earth, as it is in heaven. Vocal fry's not working. All right, so without a script, today is going to be a preview for my next video. So this one most likely will be short, and I'm looking for, there we go, way to get in there. But I want to check in with everybody. Once again, thank you to those who are regulars at the Good Info Cafe and make comments, and those who are kind of in the shadows that are regulars. Go ahead and make a comment so I can get to know your thoughts, because multiple intelligences meet here. So all types, not just logical mathematical, not just verbal linguistic, but all, I have it broken up into 10. So the gold standard is moral, ethical intelligence. That's number one. Then it doesn't matter what the other skills are. That's the most important. So preview for this Sunday. So the two songs I plan to do, well, one for sure is called Shekinah. And I had a great conversation with Brent, so I'll talk about that. But I want to make sure, tonight, I don't think I ate anything last time, so I'm going to open this up as I'm talking, so that we use all our senses, or as many as we can. So we have, because it's going to take all five senses and the multiple intelligences. So there you go. Salami Genoa, salami panino, Genoa. All right. So smells great. And so get out your food. So we have the smell, and I'll do the taste, and I'm touching it. And that's also the drums when I play the brushes, that's touching, and then the visual and the auditory. So we have all five senses. That's why it's important to do this. And then the grade for today is going to be, oh my goodness. So Robert Mueller, you're a mean one, Mr. Mueller, testified in front of the House and the Senate, I think. And the one who learned the most about and I got this line from someone on the radio, I can't remember who learned the most. Oh, I think it was Trey Gowdy. The person who learned the most about the Mueller report was Bob Mueller today. There's so many things he couldn't remember, he didn't know. So he came across pathetic, but he deserves it because he is dirty and incompetent. And in the information literacy scale, he's way down because of other distractions from the barriers to becoming information literate. He's got lots of those barriers. So he couldn't remember things. He then said if he couldn't get away with that, it would be, I can't talk about that. And there are parts of the report, oh, that's in the report. Oh, okay, well then I support it. Just pathetic. And it shows the leadership, really for the world, so much of the leadership are dum-dums. They're incompetent. And you know, they go to the best schools and get paid lots of money. And I don't know, he spent $30 million in 2.5 years. And it was all a political theater and a waste of time. And so he gets an F, Bob Mueller does, and probably like a 30% out of 100. So a low F. How's that? Failure. And in terms of the priority, where the top priority is the survival of life, him, and the waste of resources. So that falls in the top 10 category, waste of resources. That's a huge problem in the world because of the barriers to being information literate and ego and covering one's behind and all that kind of stuff. So then the question of the day, it has to do with the type of music. So the type of music I do is live and spontaneous in a sense. I don't prepare too much with the music. I mean, I do because I want to get quality, but the more spontaneous and the more live, the better, and the more difficult it is. So I've recorded in the recording studio, and done plenty of that. Where Kenny Loggins recorded, Ringo Starr. This is out in Santa Barbara, and in the DC area where Prince did some recording, and really nice studios. But it's a different type of music. It's more mechanical. It's more anyway. Doing live, spontaneous music is the most difficult to do. So do you agree with that? That live, spontaneous music is the most difficult music to do? All right, before I forget, because it smells so good. So that's Shekinah, and I did it a little bit, I think the last video or maybe 2 videos ago, and I finally found where I'd written out the music for it. So that's coming up for Sunday, the song Shekinah original, and then right now I plan to do She's Runnin' On, the original song I wrote about a runaway girl. So I can preview a little bit of that. So when I put believers and non-believers are welcome here, in the back of my mind I knew I had the voice saying, okay, but then non-believers won't feel as welcome as believers. So I'm going to change it, or I'm going to evolve it, and I'll go over it more on Sunday. But great conversation with Brent, and that really brought it out, because where do I start? Sunday I'm going to address all this more, but it's going to be it's so important for me, and I think any YouTube channel, any person who's in the media, to be honest with their biases, where they come from. So I want to be as transparent as possible, and I have. What you see is what you get. Kathy Shu, she can tell you. I picked her up last Wednesday, a week ago, for the George and John and Mark More History boat tour. But I don't know if they did a boat. I know they did I think they had a different boat tour because the Captain Gary canceled at the last minute, and so it definitely was a bus tour. Anyway, she can tell you. She met me and Brent. We haven't met in person, and I haven't met Sean in person, but met Kathy Shu, so I hope she can be on here. So it's important to know where I'm coming from, and my emphasis is now going to be on end times, Book of Revelations, and I started talking about that because that was me and Task Force would always talk about that, Jenny, and so it's going to be more and more, because that is absolutely what's going to be in the news more and more, especially with the President Trump's and his son-in-law Jared Kushner attempt to do the Mideast peace plan, which that'll be another discussion. I'll just say only God can do that. People can do their part, Brent. Yes, everyone has their part to play. So, so understanding current events and end times prophecy, Book of Revelations, and Daniel, Isaiah, is huge for as we move forward. So that is where, and the Sunday, it's going to be more like a preaching or a sermon, that kind of thing, or I plan for it. We'll see if I can deliver it. But tune in on Sunday. Update on Raleigh Flynn, the former CIA spy that a TV show Homeland was based on, her character. I missed the last 2 Sundays because of work, and also that's why this is so late. I don't have my days mixed up, and I fall asleep in the middle of the day. I'm going to be working tomorrow, so that's why this is so late. I'm kind of discombobulated, and I didn't make the last 2 Sundays where Raleigh was there, and I would have talked with her about planning for her interview or discussion on the Good Info Cafe. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen. It will. I would be surprised if it doesn't at some point, but not as soon as I had wanted it, because now it's summer. Now we don't sing on Sundays until the end of August at my church. So that was where I would meet with her. But we're in touch. I have her number and email. So where was I? So believers. So the drawing line is those who accept Jesus as their Messiah, as their salvation through Jesus as the only way, and those that don't. So that's I'm saying that's where I'm at, but everybody's welcome who are critical thinkers, are part of the multiple intelligences, understand about information literacy, but don't do those barriers to being information literate. The arrogance and ego, or the ego that gets in the way. To have a healthy ego is it's explaining, it's saying healthy sense of self, but the self-centered ego, virtue signaling, misinformation, disinformation, all those people are not welcome, but you don't have to believe the way I do. It's very personal. And it's funny how people will then project, because I say I accept Jesus as my Messiah. I believe he was the Jewish Messiah, and then he made God accessible to all, not just the chosen ones. And so anyone can come to God through Jesus. And so that's where I'm coming from. And there's others on the channel who come from there, but others who don't. But from both groups, you're not welcome if you do those barriers to being information literate, the things that get in the way of a good discussion. And mine and Brent over the phone was very passionate, but it's funny how people will project. So don't assume you know where I'm at necessarily. I know some of you have a good sense for it, but so my main point is, well, I'll develop for Sunday. Tune in on Sunday, and I think I'll be doing it earlier. But Brent was asking about conversion experiences with Jesus, and so mine with Shekinah, back in the mid '84, it was '83 or '84. I wrote this song Shekinah, and I don't even know where I got the name from, that word. And some look at it as a glory of God, the Shekinah. So I don't know exactly what it is. And some look at it as a female personification of God. And I know there's a lot of Christians that the Shekinah is not acceptable, and that's fine. I'm not saying what it is or isn't, other than I was taking a nap, and I was in and out of a dream and sensed the presence of God that I sensed as the Shekinah. Maybe I then did research and I was like, oh, that's what that was. Like, it came through the window, but I know it was during the day I was napping, and the sun came through, the light came through the window. But it was powerful, the presence of God, the God of Abraham, the God of the universe. So it was very comforting. And so I'm going to do the full song on Sunday with guitar, but it's Shekinah, I love you dearly. Shekinah, whoa, whoa, whoa. Shekinah, whoa, whoa, whoa. Darkness falls, my eyes close and I see you. Yeah, then it got to be dusk and nighttime. So it went from the day and the light and then to the nighttime. Morning breaks, I wake and you're in my mind. Ooh, it's got a really cool guitar, chromatic guitar part with an E11 in there, Norman. So Shekinah, and then possibly She's Running On. She walks alone in the setting sun. Her look is soft, her eyes are worn. And if you ask her for a number or a name, she starts to run. She's got to run. She's running on. She's running on. She's running on. It's about a runaway girl, but then she gets home at the end. All right, so I think that's it. So far, I think that's it. So far, I think that's it. Goodbye. That's for you, Brent. And so many are welcome where we can meet at the Good Info Cafe to have a discussion about the meaning of life, about any subject. Did I do everything? The question about, do you agree or think that live spontaneous music is the most difficult to deliver, to do? And we're in the end of an age, but not necessarily the biblical end of an age, but I lean towards that. But are we in the end times? That's biblical, the end times and end of days, which is the Great Tribulation, which is terrible, but then it is 1,000 years of peace. So